and welcome to Pure Yoga's Subtract Flow. So if you did the practice of last week, which was adding flow, it's exactly the same poses, but we're doing the subtraction of a pose at the end of each round. So we'll be doing 6 poses and taking one off each time as we do our left and rights. Okay, so we're going to come into child's pose. We're going to bring our knees nice and wide apart, bring our big toes together, bring our seats back towards our feet, bring our hands forward towards the front of the mat, and just let that chest sink towards the floor, reaching forward with the fingertips, back with the sit bones. The toes are untucked and the tops of the feet are flat on the mat. Let that belly come onto the place between the inside of the thighs, and just take a moment here just to scan the body from the fingertips down to the toe tips, just having a check-in with how that body feels. I did forget to say that maybe you'll need a block at the beginning of this practice to use as we do our half moons to find a balance with the hand. You don't have to use the block if you don't wish, whichever works for you. Making sure you have some water to hydrate as you move through this Vinyasa flow. Take another breath in neutral position in child's pose. And then as you take a breath in, walk the hands over to your right side of the mat. Bring your left hand on top of your right and sink that chest to the inside of that right thigh. Relax the shoulders, bring the forehead back to the mat. And breathe into that space on the left side rib cage, expanding on the inhale, contracting on the exhale. Keep encouraging that left sit bone back towards that left heel. And then walking the hands over to your left side of the mat. Bring your right hand on top of your left. Nudge your right sit bone back to the right heel. Bring the forehead to the mat. Relax the shoulders and breathe this time into the right side rib cage. So choice to use the nose or the mouth to breathe through. The true yogic breath is in and out through the nose. Work with what feels right for you. Walk the hands back to centre. Take a breath out here in neutral place. Then coming up onto the hands and knees. Heel of the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of the feet still flat on the floor. Take a breath in, lift up the head, lift up the bum, drop the belly down towards the mat. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. Then take it to the opposite direction, chin into the chest, tailbone tucks as the centre of the spine lifts. Back into our cow position where the belly drops, the chest expands, the tailbone lifts. Take it back to cat where the back rounds and we send the centre of the spine up to the ceiling, tailbone tucks. Come back through a neutral place, tabletop position. Reach your right arm forward, bring your left toes back. Then lift that left leg up to hip height without letting that centre of the belly drop down towards the floor. Keep it engaged, keep that rib and hip tether. Left heel pushing back, left toes back to the shins. On your out breath, elbow to knee and squeeze. In breath, lengthen back out. And then take it back into a squeeze at out breath. In breath, take it back out. One more, squeeze everything in. Take it back out to full length. Then bring your right hand down, left knee down. Take it over to the other side. Left hand reaches forward, right foot reaches back. Then lift that right heel up to hip height without arching in that lower spine. Push the right heel away, left fingertips towards the front. On your out breath, squeeze everything in, elbow to knee. In breath, lengthen back out. Out breath, elbow to knee. In breath, lengthen back out. One more time, elbow to knee. And then lengthen back out. Bringing your left hand down, your right knee down. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, fold everything back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to neutral space, tabletop position. Stepping both feet back into a plank. Lifting the hips to down dog. Maybe finding a paddle of the feet here, a nod, a shake of the head. One heel coming down at a time. Get those hamstrings, calves and Achilles ready for those stretches. Relax the shoulders, relax the neck. Widen the fingers. Have that full grounding into all of the knuckles, into the palms. And then when you're happy to bring those heels into a still position, squeezing the heels back, straightening the legs as much as you can, or bringing a micro bend into the knees if those lower backs feel tight. 3 optional vinyasas. Coming with me, option 1, come forward to plank. Drop down the knees and tuck the toes, turn the creases of the elbows. Elbows graze the ribs as you release to the floor. Breath in, lift up the chest, little baby cobra. Breath out, drop the chest down, tuck the toes under, bring the chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back. Option 2, coming with me, forward to plank. Release down, straight bodies all the way to the mat, elbows grazing the ribs, untuck the toes, maybe come a little higher, into a back bend on your in-breath. On your out-breath, let the chest come back down, bring the chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips and squeeze the heels back. If you wish to stay option 1 or 2, feel free to do so, or option 3, Chaturanga, forward to plank, inhale. Turn the creases of the elbows, let the bodies come to hover, elbow high. Roll over the toes, lift up the chest, thighs stay away to our full up dog. And then on your out breath, lift up through the hips. Roll over the toes, or bring those chests back to thighs, finding yourself back in down dog. Relaxing through the neck and the shoulders. Heels squeezing to the back of the mat. Toes in front of the heels. Feet hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart, our true alignment of down dog. So we're starting the flow, 6 poses on the right side. As you take a breath in, raise that right leg up to the ceiling. Bring that right knee into the chest. Gaze in between the hands, step your right foot through. Drop your left heel down, bring your right hand to the inside of the right leg, reach up with the left hand, then forward to the front of the room. Use that right arm to anchor the twist onto that right leg. Keep the right knee bent, left leg straight. Pushing into the outside edge of the left foot and the whole sole of the right foot. Maybe the gaze can be up towards those left hands, into those left palms, keeping the chest open to the left side of the room. So using that oblique strength, we lift the shoulders over the hips to find our warrior 2. Palms facing down, still keeping a bend into that right knee. Keep the hips nice and low. Stack the head on top of the spine and keep lifting up with that lower belly to engage through that core center. Squeezing the bums, internally rotating that left thigh as we push into the outside edge of that left foot. Then straighten through the right leg, try not to hyperextend, then reach forward with the right hand, taking it to triangle. Left hand lifts, right hand comes down towards the inside of that right leg. Chest opens to the left side of the room. Feeling you're reaching up with the left fingertips, down with the right. Right bum cheek tucks under and the left hip turns out. So choice to use the block here as we step forward into half moon. So take a gaze down to the toe tips of the right, bend the right knee, step the left foot forward, maybe take that block to just in front of that right foot. As you lift that left leg up to hip height, still keeping the left hand lifted if you wish, or bring it to the hip. Right hand is being supported on the block. Toes of the right foot pointing to that short edge. The left toes pointing to the long edge. Left heel pushing away. Remember, you don't need to use those blocks for support. If you don't wish, you can find a hover with the fingertips touching the mat. Left shoulder stacks on top of the right. So we're taking it into reverse half moon. So turn the shoulders and hips down. Bring your left hand onto the block. Then reach up with the right hand, turn and twist the body, keeping that left leg at hip height and turning the body to the right side. Right hand lifts, left hand is now the support to either the block or the floor. Holding this space. One more breath. Then release the left foot to meet the right. Sink the hips, raise the arms. And find that chair position, sinking the hips nice and low. Lifting the lower belly up, tucking the tailbone down. Feather-like touch through the toes and the weight in the heels. One more breath here. Then bringing the hands to the hips, step your left foot back. Hands to either side of the right foot. Raise the right leg up to the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the left. Take a vinyasa of your choice here. Forward to plank, inhale. Whatever choice of vinyasa you wish to do, maybe dropping the knees or straight buddies to the floor. Lift up the chest to the highest up dog you wish to take. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes. Chest back to the thighs or rolling straight over those toes. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Maybe take a paddle through the feet, nod and shake of the head if those hamstrings are still tight. The movement through those heels, bringing one down to the mat then the other, just helps those hamstrings loosen off a little more. Then if you're ready to bring those heels to stillness, taking those 6 poses on that left side. Your breath in, your left leg lifts. Breath out, bring the knee into the chest. Gaze in between the hands, step your left foot through. Left hand comes to the inside of the left foot, drop the right heel down. Lift the right hand up and over towards the front of the room. Gazing towards the palm of the right hand. Left hand is grounded and anchoring that left knee out to the side. Left knee is bent, stacking over that left ankle. And we're pushing into the outside edge of the right foot. Nice expansion through the chest to the right side. Left cheek tucks under, right hip turns out. Use now the oblique strength to lift the shoulders over the hips, keeping a bend into that left knee. Sinking the hips nice and low. Palms facing down, shoulders relaxed, maybe gazing to those left fingertips. Easy breaths in. Long breaths out. Energetically pushing down into both feet to find the stability through the floor. And then straightening your left leg without hyperextending. Switch the muscles on in the thigh. Reach down with the left hand, up with the right hand to find your triangle pose facing the right side of the room. Tuck under with the left bum cheek. Feel that space through the left side waist. Try not to collapse over that left leg. Reaching up and down with both fingertips. Create space. Create length. Then you can bring your right hand to the hip as you step forward onto that left foot. Maybe use that block for support. Lifting that right leg up to hip height. Turning the shoulders and hips to the right side of the room. Maybe reaching back up with that right hand. Push the right heel back. Right toes turn into the long edge. Left toes facing the short edge. Left hand is our support on the block or the floor. And we reach up high with those right fingertips. So taking reverse half moon, turn the hips and shoulders down to face the mat. Right hand comes onto the block. Left hand lifts. And we rotate and turn our bodies while our hips stay nice and square to the mat. Right leg stays lifted, left hand lifts. Feeling that strength of the core, holding the pose. Just for one more breath. Then bring that left hand down to the hips, step the right foot to meet the left. Bring the hips low, raise the arms up high. Sink the hips, feather-like touch with the toes. Try not to have too much of an arch into that lower back. By feeling that engagement through the front of the body, rib and hip tether, lower belly lift. Bring the hands to the hips, stepping your right foot back. Hands either side of the left foot, left leg lifts to the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the right. Take a vinyasa of your choice. Forward to plank. Release to the floor or hover, either dropping knees or not. Rolling through, lifting up the chest. Taking it back to down dog. Lifting the hips and squeezing the heels back. So we'll take 5 poses on the right side, dropping chair at the end. Just relax the neck, relax the shoulders, widen the hands. Your next breath in, your right leg lifts. Bring that knee into the chest, gaze in between the hands, step your right foot through. Drop your left heel down, right hand to the inside of the right foot, left hand lifts up and over to find that stretch to the front of the room. Right knee stays bent and the left leg straight, pushing to the outside edge of that left foot. Use the oblique muscles to lift the shoulders over the hips. Sink the hips low, try and find that parallel right thigh to the floor. Right knee turning out, squeezing the outside of that right hip. Then straighten through your right leg, reach across and then down to the inside of that right shin, reaching up with the left hand. Create that space along the chest, space along the right side of the body. Head in line with the spine. You can bring that left hand to the hip until we make the transition through. Bring your right hand onto the block. Step onto your right foot as you lift your left leg. Finding half moon, chest open to the left, maybe the left hand reaching to the ceiling. Feeling easy as we hold this pose, hips right one tucking under the left. Find our reversed half moon, so turn the hips and shoulders down towards the floor. Square the hips, bring your left hand onto the block. Reach up with your right hand, turn and twist that body to the right side. Remember that block can be replaced by a book or a can of beans or something of a similar height. Twist through the waist, left hand stays level with the hip, left foot stays level with the hip. And then bring both hands down, either side of the right foot, step your left foot back, lift your right leg, up to the ceiling, bring it back to meet the left. Vinyasa through of your choice, forward to plank, release to the floor or hover, roll through, uplift the chest, release the chest back down to Kunda with the toes, chest back to the thighs, push into the hands, push into the feet, lift at the hips, squeeze the heels back. Ready to take that left side. Breath in, left leg lifts. Squeeze the right heel to the floor, then bring those knees into the chest. Step forward with the left foot, drop your right heel down, left hand to the inside of the left foot, right hand reaches up and over to find side angle stretch. Turn the chest to the right. Use those oblique muscles to lift those shoulders up and over the hips, keeping that left knee bent and the hips low, trying to find a parallel left thigh to the mat. Straightening through the left leg, reach forward and down with the left hand as the right hand lifts. Gaze up to that right hand, tuck that left shoulder under the right. Engage through the thigh muscles on that left leg so we don't push that left knee back too far. Then either bringing your right hand to your hip or keep it high, gaze down to the floor. Step forward onto your left leg as you lift your right leg up to hip height. Turn the shoulders and hips to the right. Maybe reach that right hand back up to the ceiling. Maybe if you wish to challenge the balance, gaze up to that hand or turn the gaze to the right side of the room. Or keep the gaze down to that left hand. Finding reverse half moon, square the hips and shoulders to the mat. Right hand comes to the block, left hand lifts, And we rotate from the waist to turn our bodies to that left side. Keep active through that right leg, using the glute to lift that right leg up to hip height, pushing the right heel away. One more breath here. Then release the hands down, step back with your right foot, step back and lift the left leg up to the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the right and take a flow vinyasa of your choice. Forward to plank, inhale. Release down to a hover or to the floor. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Making our way back to down dog. Lifting the hips and squeezing the heels back. Coming down onto the knees, maybe taking a little water break or maybe child's pose. So the poses now are coming fewer. So we're dropping off, we've dropped off chair, we're dropping off reverse half moon. By the time of the end of December, these half moons should be fabulous. So making our way either into child's pose or just continue taking on some fluids, little sips, and often, if you're in child's pose, reaching forward with the hands back with the heels and just take a breath here. Restore that breath as you bring that body over those thighs. One more breath in this space. Then making your way back up into down dog. Coming through tabletop first, stepping the feet back, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels to the floor. Right side, raise up with the right leg. Bring that knee to the chest, gaze in between the hands, step your right foot through. Drop your left heel down, right hand to the inside of the right foot, reach up and over with the left hand for your side angle stretch. Keep that right knee turning out, not letting it drop into the centre line. Then bring the shoulders over the hips, keeping that right knee turned out to find warrior two. Right thigh as parallel to the floor as you can find it. Then straightening through the right leg, reach forward and down with the right hand as the left hand lifts. Maybe gaze up to that left thumb. So the only balance we're taking on this side is our half moon. Maybe you want to release that left hand to the hip, gaze to the front, step forward onto your right leg. Bring your right fingertips towards the floor if you wish, without using that block. Maybe lift that left hand back up to the ceiling, left leg in line with the left hip. I'm now not using the block, I'm just finding a fingertip touch on the mat. Shoulders turning to the left, you can lift the gaze if you wish. Not a favourable thing for me to do, it really throws my balance. So I always gaze just in front of my right hand. One more breath in this space. Then bend your right knee, bring your left foot back, come onto the toes of the left foot. Raise that right leg up towards the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the left. Flow a vinyasa of your choice. Forward to plank, inhale. Release to the floor on your exhale. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes. Bring the chest back to the thighs, push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back. 4 poses, left side. Breath in, left leg lifts. Bring that knee to the chest, gaze in between the hands, step your left foot through. Drop your right heel down, left hand to the inside of the left foot, reach up, over with the right hand, side angle stretch, gaze to that right palm. Then lift the shoulders over the hips, keeping the hips nice and low, left thigh parallel to the floor. Warrior two, arms T-shape, shoulder high. Straightening the left leg, reach forward and down with the left hand as the right hand lifts. Chest expansion to the right. Switch on that left thigh to engage through that kneecap. Protect that joint. Maybe bring your right hand onto the right hip, step forward onto your left foot. Maybe the fingertips touch the floor as you raise that right leg, not using the block maybe. And then maybe raise that right hand up to the ceiling. Find the gaze to wherever it feels comfortable for you. Left shoulder tucking under the right. Left hip tucking under the right hip. Right toes back to the shins, pushing the heel away, straightening that leg. And then take a bend into your left knee, bring your right toes to the back of the mat, both hands either side of the left foot. Lift the left leg to the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the right. Take a vinyasa of your choice. Forward to plank, inhale. Release down to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog. Lifting those hips, squeezing those heels back. So we have 3 poses to do on your right and left, so you can remove the block away from the front of the mat as we're dropping half moon. Yay, I hear you say. Your next breath in, right leg lifts. Bring that knee to the chest, gaze in between the hands, step your right foot through. Drop your left heel down, right hand to the inside of the right foot, reach up, over with that left hand. Keep those hips nice and low and the right knee bent. Oblique muscles, switch them on, bring the shoulders over the hips. Warrior 2, switch the thigh muscle on in the right side to hold those hips nice and low. Then straighten through the right leg, reach forward and down with the right hand as the left hand lifts. Turn the chest, lift the gaze. Find triangle, a nice flat body as you look from the front of the mat, looking back at your own self, 2 planes of glass either side of that torso. Then turn the shoulders back towards that right foot, come onto the toes of the back foot, right leg lifts, right foot comes back to meet the left. Vinyasa of your choice, forward to plank, down to the floor, your variation. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Ready to take on the left side. 3 poses on this side. Breath in, left leg lifts. Bring that knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands. Step your left foot through. Drop your right heel down. Left hand to the inside of the left foot. Right hand reaches up and over. Left knee stays bent. Gaze up to that palm. Keep the hips low. Switch on the muscles in the sides of the waist. Find your warrior 2. Hips nice and low. Then straighten through the left leg, reach forward and down with the left hand as the right hand lifts. Chest turned to the right, shoulders and hips stacked. Feel the weight of both feet pushing into the floor for stability. And a nice long line down that left side torso. Head in line with the spine. Bring both hands down, either side of the left foot, bend the left knee, come onto the toes of the back foot, left leg lifts, comes back to meet the right. Flow your vinyasa from here, forward to plank, releasing to the floor or a hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest, making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Easy breath in, long breath out. 2 poses, right side, side angle stretch and warrior 2. Weight comes into your left leg, right leg lifts. Bring that knee to the chest, gaze in between the hands, step your right foot through. Drop your left heel down internally. Right hand to the inside of the right foot. Left hand reaches up and over. Find that side angle stretch, nice long torso. Strengthen the core as you lift the shoulders over the hips to find warrior 2. And we're going to hold it in warrior 2 for the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Windmill the hands down, either side of the right foot. Lift that right leg up to the ceiling and bring it back to meet the left. Forward to plank. Inhale, release to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Making our way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. 2 poses left side. Breath in, left leg lifts. Breath out, knee to chest. Gaze in between the hands. Step your left foot through. Right heel drops internally. Left hand to the inside of the left foot. Right hand reaches up, over. Side angle stretch. Lift that torso over the hips. Find warrior 2, endurance and strength. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Windmill the hands down, either side of the left foot. Lift the left leg up to the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the right. Flow a vinyasa of your choice. Forward to plank. Release to a hover or to the floor. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Taking yourself back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. So we've made our way from 6 poses all the way down to the last flow on both left and right. 1 pose of side angle stretch. Weight comes into your left foot as your right leg lifts. Bring that knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands, step your right foot through, drop the back heel down. Right hand to the inside of the right foot, reach up, over. With that left hand, energetically push into both feet. So you have an option in this side angle stretch to either stay here for the count of 10, or maybe find a half bind with the left hand to the right thigh, or a full bind. Right hand comes underneath the right thigh and grabs a hold of the left fingertips. Wherever you are, we're holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, try not to let that left shoulder drop, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're in a bind, release the bind. Bring both hands either side of that right foot. Lift that right leg up to the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the left. Take your vinyasa flow from here. Forward to plank, inhale. Release to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Left side for 1 last pose. Breath in, lift the left leg. Bring that knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands, step your left foot through. Drop your right heel down, left hand to the inside of the left foot. Reach the right hand up, over towards the front of the room. Maybe gaze to that palm. So choice to stay here for the count, or find a half bound, or find that full bind, left hand underneath that left thigh, finding those right fingertips. Wherever you are, for the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're in a bind, release the bind. Bring both hands either side of that left foot. Toes of the back foot, raise that left leg up to the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the right. Take a vinyasa of your choice, forward to plank, inhale. Release down to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Take a nice long easy breath in down dog. Find that resting pose. Come forward to a plank. Turn onto your right side, left foot in front of the right. You can drop the right knee to the floor if you wish, but then lift that left hand up to the ceiling. Finding side plank for the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the left hand down, lift the hips back to down dog. Take a flow vinyasa of your choice, forward to plank, inhale. Release to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Come back forward to a plank. This time roll over onto your left side, right foot in front of the left, raise the right hand. Maybe drop that left knee at any point if you wish. Keep the hips high and in line. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that right hand down to meet the left. Lift the hips back to down dog. Come forward to plank, inhale. Release to a hover or to the floor. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Make your way into a seat, either swinging the legs around or stepping the feet forward, bringing the bums into the centre. Hands under the creases of the knees. Relax the shoulders, lift up the chest. Raise up one foot, raise up the other. Find that balancing point in bent knee boat. Choice to stay hold of the knees or release the hands. Holding it for 10, 9, keep the chest lifted, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay here for a little longer if you wish, or low boat for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax the shoulders and the feet down. Bring the arms to cactus arms. Take a bend into both knees. So choice to wrap the right leg over the left, or just keep both knees together at the side of each other. Let the knees go over to the left side and keep that right shoulder down. Take that twist through the waist. Protect that lower back by lifting the lower belly up. If it's too deep a twist with the right leg over the left, bring the right knee back to sit on top of the left knee. The chest stays facing upwards, so does the gaze. The right shoulder plugs into the mat as much as you can. Just neutralising that spine from all the back bends, forward folds. Bring those knees back into centre. Either swap the legs around if you're just staying with both knees stacked. Then let the knees go over to your right side. Chest stays facing to the ceiling. The lower belly lifts as the tailbone tucks. Try not to pinch those lower backs at any point. Easy breaths, relaxing the lower limbs. Then bring those knees back to centre. Bring the left foot to meet the right. Bring both hands down by the sides of the body. Gaze stays up. Feet hip width apart. Start to roll up through that spine, one vertebra at a time. Taking those hips into full extension. The back into a little arch. Chin into the chest. Try not to let the knees splay too far apart. Keep pushing into those big toe edges of the feet. And then just feel like you're dragging the heels towards the shoulders. Just activate those hamstrings. One more breath here. And then slowly let those bums come down to the mat. One vertebra at a time. Then straighten the legs out long. Or bring them to butterfly legs, whichever feels most comfortable for you for a few minutes of relaxation. Maybe you want to have the knees dropping inwards and the feet out to the width of the mat. This position really protects the lower back. Turn the hands up, let the fingers gently curl. Take a close of the eyes, relax of the forehead and the jaw. Let the lips gently part. Maybe have a little turn of the head in both directions. Bringing that head back to centre, finding that comfortable space. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose. And a long sigh out through the mouth. Take another breath like this. Those knees dropping internally if the knees are bent. Just let them relax against one another. If the legs are long, let the feet drop out to the side to open the hips. Have a think about where the shoulders are. If they feel like they've crept up to the ears, just send them down to those hip bones. And just take these few moments to think about the practice you've just done, the places you've moved your body through, the balances that you've taken, the core strength that you've held. Starting to bring some movement into the fingers. If you want to stay in Shavasana for longer, pause me now. Maybe bring some movement into those toes, those ankles and those wrists. If you want to take a full body stretch, stretching the hands up and over the head, stretching through the fingers, the toes, maybe arching into that back. And then bringing those hands back up and over, bringing the knees in towards the chest, maybe just having a little rock of that body from side to side. Maybe a few circles with the knees in one direction, circles the other way. Then making your way into seated, either rolling onto one side or just rocking up and down that spine a couple of times. And then finding your seated position, either cross-legged, legs out in front, or sat on the knees. Bring the hands wherever you are onto the thighs. Grow tall through the spine and relax through the shoulders. Take a breath in. Bring the hands up and over the head. On your out breath, bring the hands to the chest and a soft gaze to the floor. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts. From my heart to yours. Namaste.